I mean, the lights were just going around. It was going around pretty fast. And I told my husband, let's follow it, because it's just starting to move away from the telephone pole to the right. And it started heading over into the Rye Beach area. And so we went down the road towards Rye Beach area, and I'm looking up at it to my right, and it was just like following along with our car. And as we got to the end where the park is, we could see it right over the water, and it stayed there for like 1 minute. And I looked at my husband, I said, what is it doing? And all of a sudden it just was there, and it just went right up, and it was gone that quick. It was pretty neat.
It was not high in the sky like an airplane would be. You know, we get a lot of traffic going back and forth from the Cleveland airport, and you can see the planes in the sky, but you can also, you know that it's an airplane with the blinking lights and the colors. This was a saucer-shaped object, and it was big. To compare it in size, it's like seeing a house up there, the bottom of a house, and there were white lights underneath it, and it was hovering over, you know, kind of like the blimp would do, just hanging there. And the white lights were on continuously; they didn't go off. And we're continuing to drive, and it's still there, and it would move. I mean, you couldn't see it move, but it would move, and you would see it in a different area, but close to the area in which it had been. And it was moving closer towards the lake. Well, at that time, we were getting ready to get off the bypass on Rye Beach Road and head into Rye Beach. And we're following it. I mean, we're going in the same direction that this thing was in, and you could see that the shape of it, the bottom was definitely a saucer shape, and the color of it was, and it was a clear night, it was starry, it was July, and you could see the formation of, you couldn't see the whole shape of it from top to bottom, but going up to the top, it was like a metallic gray, and you could only see a portion of it going up. You never saw the entire shape of it. So we get off the bypass, and we're heading north on Rye Beach Road, going into Rye Beach, and you know, we're just, you know, what is this thing? My God, it's going right where we're going. It was higher than the trees, but not much higher, and the lights never flickered, they never went off, but it would be there, and then it would be gone. And then there it was again.
It was maybe a quarter to a half a mile down the road from us. But it was, you know, large enough to look like, you know, quarter or half mile away somebody had left go of a helium balloon, and it was coming down. After we got home, my wife went on the internet and looked up a lot of the UFO postings on some of the websites, and all up and down the New York, New Jersey, East Coast area, there were similar sightings of black objects and so on that summer. So we saw it too.
I was just sitting here one night, and I know it sounds crazy, but this voice in my head, it just said, you need to come outside and bring your camera. And when I walked outside, sure enough, this thing was flying from Cleveland towards me, going towards Perry. And I got the whole thing on tape, and it really looked like, if you picture what a snow angel looks like in the snow, but picture it in the sky and made out of like a glowing, translucent, almost like cloud-like material, but very distinct edges of what would be that snow angel. And where the head would be, it almost came out like a saucer, kind of like it just came out like into a point, and there was what looks like one of those single balls of pulsating light was in the end of that part of it, and it was, you could see it actually strobing. And that was one of the stranger incidences, just because, you know, obviously it's not a coincidence if somehow something tells you to come out and film it and you walk out and it's there. And it ends up that particular craft was seen over 7 states, and a lady that was the head of MUFON in Kentucky actually drew a picture, and it's identical. And one interesting thing about that sighting is the government came out right away the next day, because a lot of people had seen it, and a lot of people had called in, and as far as I know, I have the only footage of that, but they said it was an Atlas missile that they had fired, and they were doing a fuel dump or something, and that's what it was. But obviously they didn't think anyone had it on film, because that makes no sense once you see it, especially when this thing's flying over. You see a smaller orb of light like go in and actually do a flyby, like right into it, like a smaller, maybe like a scout craft or something. So I mean, even if it was an Atlas missile, what's the second object, you know? And so obviously, you know, the powers that be don't want this information out, and they got to come up with something. So
in northern Ohio, especially near Lake Erie, a lot of these lights and craft are being witnessed, and if you look into it, I mean, you've seen the interviews with Michael Lee Hill. He has a lot of video footage of these things, and it looks, I don't see how he could hoax that. I mean, if you look at his film, his video, puts his camera on night shot, and that just really makes the whole thing stand out. You can see the lake, you can see the light shining off of the lake. It just, I've met him, I don't see how he could hoax something like that. But a lot of these UFOs are being seen near Lake Erie.